Are you ready for another tutorial on search engine optimization? What we're going to do today is on-page SEO, and we're going to give you a checklist. The most important aspect about this is it gives you A, the list of what to follow, and B, the customer, you can pass it on to them and show them what you're going to be doing. This should be able to impress them, and by doing that you should be able to get the job and of course follow it through. We're going to give you quite a few PowerPoints in this, so listen to them and try to pick up. We're going to give you some websites, we're going to try to get it, make it really easy for you to follow. The first thing in any, when you write in any content is the title. The title is obviously very important. Now when you're doing this, consider that Google actually read the first 4 to 5 words and take that more as the gospel, so to say, right? The rest of it, the other, up to 60 characters, is also sort of read by the search engine, but it's not at the same type of level. So try to get your punchline in straight away. This is important if you really want to show Google you know what you're doing, and of course get the message out. Right? We're going to give you a bit of a power tip here. There's a website called Sharethrough. If you go to this, we'll put a link down at the bottom. Just tap in your headline and it will give you a rating out of 100, and it will tell you the strength of your headline. And yeah, that's you can use that for the title, and you can use that also for the headline, which we're going to discuss now. Headline for SEO is very different to what you would get in a newspaper or for social media, because that's like the bait, that's trying to get you in. We're not trying to do that with search engine optimization at all. What we're trying to do is get the robots from Google to read it and actually to rank it. So it's important that we choose, an headline that actually fits the subject, right? So throw in the keyword, yeah. If you've got WordPress, make sure that you're getting the H1 tag. That's very important, because that will sort of, that's the size that you want, right? So, don't think this is as strong as the title, but it's obviously a part of the system that Google are reading. The next part is subheadings. Now we throw a lot of these in because we think it keeps it interesting. So, in say an article with 1,500 words, we might throw in 20 subheadings. So that's like, on average, 75 words and a new subheading. You can throw in also the keyword phrase here sometimes, and but you don't need to put it in everywhere. Also use LSI. We'll discuss that a little bit later. Next is the meta description. This is very important, obviously, because this is used to explain what you're doing also to the search engines. You've got 160 characters to do this. It helps Google understand exactly what you're talking about. You don't necessarily need to include the keywords in this, but you should make it as relevant as possible. So make it interesting, and try to use up all of your 160 words, and hopefully Google will then be reading exactly what you're trying to tell them to read. The next point is the URL. Make it short, right? Once upon a time you just let anything go, but nowadays you make it as short as possible. So you'll have the website name and then maybe 1 or 2, 3 words afterwards. But keep them short, keep them relevant. That's the most important thing. If you're using WordPress, you've obviously got this in the permalink. You can set it to name only, and if that's too long, you can go and edit. So take that into consideration. The next point for us is very important, because this stops your bounce rate. The infographic, right? It has to be eye-catching and keep people interested. When you see a nice picture of something, you tend to hang around and think, oh, that's nice, don't you? It keeps you on the page. And in this situation, what it does is it stops the bounce rate. It stops people clicking that back bar, which is obviously very important to any website. And it informs. For Google, unfortunately, an infographic is just a bunch of images. So you're going to have to name each one of these images to tell Google exactly what you're doing, so they can actually, you know, get this into the search engine, and hopefully it's going to be read and crawled properly, and you know, you're going to get some kind of relevancy from that, right? So name everything as properly as possible, and just make it as interesting as possible. Throw in loads of images, and talking about images, optimize them, right? Image optimization is very important. If you go onto a lot of you know, SEO checkers websites, right, and you actually do a proper search of a website, a lot of the stuff that comes back to you is that the images are badly impaired. So, you know, take a bit of time out, you know, concentrate, look at them again and again, check them backwards. Don't forget, images help tell your story. So it's very, very important that they're properly named, because again, Google can't read the image, they can only read the tag that you're actually giving it. So you've also got the alt, and you've also got the caption. So if we were going to do this, we want to give you a bit of an example. Let's say you was going to do, you know, something about Dave's food show. That was your sort of main topic, right? For your alt text, you'd probably say a picture showing the best of Dave's food show. And for the caption, which can be bigger or smaller, whichever you choose, however it fits in, if you think it's going to look nice, you know, we had a great day out and everyone was enjoying the food at Dave's food show. So you've got your keywords in, even in a jumbled up way, but you know, you've got your message across. So you're actually showing everybody where you were, what you was doing, and that's the important part about image optimization. This gets you recognized. Page speed is vital. This is obviously something that you already probably know, but Munch did a survey, and what they found in it is that if a website took more than 4 seconds to load fully, people would leave. This is obviously more the case if people are on mobile. What you can do is you can get yourself over to GT Metrics, tap in your website that you know you want to check out, and you'll get a rough idea of the page speed. You can do it on other websites, but it's a free service, and it'll also tell you what's wrong with the website. It'll give you a rating, and yeah, so have a look at that. If you've got problems, install caching. Yeah? Use the CDN, a content delivery network. Cloudflare is pretty good for this, and obviously it's also, you can do it for free. Change the hosting. If you've got shared hosting, you might have a problem with that. Go and use Amazon if necessary, because Amazon is relatively cheap and you know, it's top quality. Switch off any unused plugins, and make sure your images are all optimized. We've already spoken about that before, but it also slows down your page. The other thing is, if you've got videos on your website, right, you might want to host them on your own servers. That's not always possible, but if you've got a lot of videos on your website, then you might start thinking about it, because it's going to go a lot slower. Last but not least, you've obviously, you know, a lot of these websites are used for advertising, so you've got ad banners on there. Ad banners out to other websites can also slow it down. And also these pop-ups. I personally don't like these pop-ups. I won't encourage anybody to have them. They're just not worth it, and we use them in the affiliate world quite often, but that's another story. The SSL certificate is obviously very important nowadays, because without it, Google are not even going to look at you. And this is the part, you know, you can see if a website's got an SSL certificate by the HTTPS as opposed to HTTP. If you haven't got one, our power tip here is very simple. Go and use Let's Encrypt. It costs nothing, it's free. Next up, responsive design. Now, we've already discussed the speed, and a responsive design is going to help the speed, but most importantly, it's going to stop the bounce rate. Modern websites is no issue, but you know, sometimes you're picking up on old websites, or you know, where they've done a lot of building in old technology, so you might need to have a look at that. but make sure that it's responsive on mobile, on desktop, on whatever you're using. Technical SEO, this is obviously another important aspect. We've already discussed some of it before, you know, with images and whatever, but the other points that you've got to take on board are things like crawl errors, you know, redirecting links, yeah, duplicate content. This is very important. You don't want, you know, to be seeing the same stuff twice, right? So you need structured data and a proper sitemap. A proper sitemap helps Google read your page a lot faster, and obviously that gets you recognized. The next thing is outbound links, right? You know, a lot of people used to think giving outbound links wasn't a good idea because basically you're sending your people to other sites. But if you link to top sites, what it shows Google is relevancy. It shows what your page is about, what you're doing, you know, what sort of group you fit into. So it's not a bad idea to always, if you're writing a blog and it's like 1500 words long, try to include at least 5, maybe 6, 7 outbound links to high-ranked websites. And then the opposite is also true, internal links. Also feed from one page to the other or one topic to the other. So you might be writing something and you might say, well, you know, this is our on-page SEO tutorial. Why don't you go and check out how to start your business? Here's a link. Why don't you, and just keep people flicking through your pages. It keeps them on the site. It makes the bounce rate low, and that's obviously important to, you know, being properly recognized. Write long content. This is obviously a no-brainer. Once upon a time, you know, you used to see, well, on Yoast, you've written 300 words, that's okay, it's good. 500 words, it was excellent. Nowadays, you've got to be writing content of 1,000 words plus. Sometimes we've started actually writing blogs with like 500 or 600 words, you know, because we wanted to get to the point and just get them posted, and we've gone back and back and back again on them, and before you know it, the 1,500 words, 2,000 words. Right. Within this long content, use images to show what you're doing. You know, again, we can't give you the importance of actually keeping people involved, sort of making it super interesting for them. And also, all of this is showing Google what, you know, that you're actually understanding the subject yourself, that you're an authority. If you're an authority, they're going to make you even a bigger authority. So that's very important, right? What we would give as a power tip here is engage with your audience. You know, try to tell them what you think they want to hear, what they want to know. You know, so, you know, don't get all technical if you think your audience is not technical. Keep things simple, but engage them. If you've got you know, some kind of comment board, or you can talk to people, or you're on social media trying to get people across, then, you know, tell them what you're doing, but keep the content quality-wise tops, but at the same time, make it informative. Use LSI keywords. What does LSI mean? Latent semantic indexing. Basically, this is related words to your keywords, right? So it's just another way, another format of putting them. It just gives Google a better idea of actually what you're doing, right? You're going to rank a lot higher for your keywords that you are using if you use all these little arrows to point in. We're going to do another blog on this, but we've got a bit of a power tip here. For these, what you can do is go to LSI graph. Right, we're going to put a link up in this. You're going to see it all. Get yourself over there, put in your keyword, and you're going to get all these LSI keywords coming out to you, right? So then you can just use them however you wish to in your next blog or whatever, change it around. But again, you know, LSI keywords are very important in this day and age. Social shares, this is an obvious one. The more social buttons that you've got on your site is good. It's especially good if those You know, social platforms are being heavily used by yourself. So, you know, if you're sort of sending one person from your Instagram account to your website, or websites to your Instagram account, it doesn't matter. The thing is, what you're doing is you're keeping the people informed, and you're showing them that you're an authority on the subject, you see. So you're going to get ranked a lot faster if you use social share buttons. Use big ones, make them very clear, right? We read an article recently from Bright Edge, and it said that by doing this correctly, you could get up to 700% more followers. So share buttons, very important. It's for traction, it's for leverage. In all of this, what we would like to say to you is, in our conclusion, yes, the most important thing is satisfy user intent, you know, make people feel very comfortable that they're on your website, let them hopefully find what they want to find there, keep them involved. Try, if you're trying to sell them things, you know, try to grab an email address, try to, you know, just keep at them, keep it interesting, and then it's going to work for you, right? So this, if SEO is done properly, it's a fantastic return on investment. The only thing is, you've got to convince the actual owners of the business that it's going to take 3 months to 6 months to start showing through. Depending on the keywords, obviously, or what you're trying to achieve. But you know, it's a fantastic return on investment, much better than any other forms over the long period. What we'd like to say to you also is, if you haven't seen it before, check out our tutorial on Instagram. We show you how to get a lot more followers, and you know what to do to try to get some kind of involvement. But most important is, give us a like if you did like this, and we'll do some more videos. We're also going to be doing one-to-ones and trying to get you involved in, you know, getting your own motivation into the business and grow yourselves as a company. So we'll see you soon. Subscribe, take a like. See you then. Bye bye.